Welcome back to our channel. Before we dive into yet another fascinating and mysterious stories, I would like to invite you to watch, to like, and subscribe to the channel. Also activate the notification sound. Today, we explore a unique biblical story. It's about King Nebuchadnezzar's transformation, a powerful king turned into an animal. Why did this happen? What can we learn from it? Let's begin. King Nebuchadnezzar ruled Babylon. His empire was vast and influential. He conquered many nations, including Judah. He destroyed Jerusalem and its temple. He took Israelites into captivity. Despite his power, he had encounters with the God of Israel. These encounters were significant. They shaped his life and reign. One night, Nebuchadnezzar had a troubling dream. He saw a massive tree. It stood tall, reaching the heavens. Its leaves were beautiful. Its fruit was abundant. Animals found shelter under it. Birds nested in its branches. Then, a watcher, a holy one, descended from heaven. He commanded, "Chop down the tree. Strip its leaves, scatter its fruit. Let the animals flee. But leave the stump and roots, bound with iron and bronze. Let it remain in the grass. Let it be wet with dew. Let him graze with animals. Let his mind be changed from that of a man to that of a beast. Let 7 times pass over him." This dream disturbed Nebuchadnezzar. He called his magicians and wise men. None could interpret the dream. Then he summoned Daniel. Daniel, also called Bel, was a Hebrew captive. He had previously interpreted dreams for the king. Nebuchadnezzar trusted him. Daniel listened to the dream. He was troubled. He hesitated to speak, but the king urged him. Daniel said, "My lord, may the dream concern your enemies." He explained, "The tree represents you, O king. You have grown strong. Your greatness reaches the heavens. Your dominion extends to the ends of the earth. But the watcher's decree is this: you will be driven from men. You will live with beasts. You will eat grass like oxen. You will be wet with dew. 7 times will pass over you, until you acknowledge the Most High rules over kingdoms, and gives them to whom he wills." Daniel advised, "Break off your sins by being righteous. Show mercy to the poor. Perhaps your prosperity will continue." A year passed. Nebuchadnezzar was walking on his palace roof. He admired Babylon. He said, "Is this not great Babylon, which I have built by my mighty power, for the honor of my majesty?" While he spoke, a voice from heaven declared, "King Nebuchadnezzar, your kingdom has departed. From you, you shall be driven from men. You shall dwell with beasts. You shall eat grass like oxen. 7 times shall pass over you, until you know the Most High rules over kingdoms, and gives them to whom he chooses." Immediately, the word was fulfilled. Nebuchadnezzar was driven from men. He ate grass like oxen. His body was wet with dew. His hair grew like eagle's feathers. His nails like bird's claws. This condition lasted 7 times. After this period, Nebuchadnezzar lifted his eyes to heaven. His understanding returned. He blessed the Most High. He praised and honored him. He acknowledged God's everlasting dominion. His kingdom was restored. He recognized God's truth and justice. He admitted God is able to humble the proud. This story teaches us about pride and humility. Nebuchadnezzar's pride led to his downfall. His acknowledgement of God led to restoration. It reminds us, power and success are granted by God. Humility before him is essential. Pride can lead to a fall. Recognition of God's sovereignty brings restoration. Thank you for joining us. Reflect on this story. Consider its lessons in your life. Stay humble. Acknowledge the Most High. See you next time. After his sanity returned, Nebuchadnezzar didn't just go back to ruling like before. He was different. Something had shifted deep inside him. He was still a king, still powerful, but now he knew who was really in charge. Let's read his exact words from Daniel 4:34-35. "Nebuchadnezzar lifted my eyes to heaven, and my understanding returned to me. I blessed the Most High, and praised and honored him who lives forever. For his dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom endures from generation to generation. The inhabitants of the earth are accounted as nothing, and he does according to his will among the host of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth. And none can stay his hand or say to him, "What have you done?" This is not just a confession, it's a transformation from prideful emperor to humbled worshipper. God didn't destroy Nebuchadnezzar, he broke him to rebuild him. Not out of wrath, but out of mercy, because God doesn't just want to prove a point, he wants hearts. Let's slow down and ask, why does this matter? Why does God care about pride? Because pride is the root of separation. It says, I don't need God. It says, I did this on my own. Pride is not just self-confidence, it's self-exaltatio. It's saying, I'm the center, but God is the source of everything. Breath, strength, wisdom, opportunity, even success. When we forget that, when we start to take credit for what God has done, set ourselves up for a fall, just like Nebuchadnezzar. But here's the beauty of this story. God warned him more than once. The dream wasn't the first time God tried to reach him. Remember the fiery furnace? When Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to bow to the golden image, Nebuchadnezzar was furious. He ordered them to be thrown into flames. But something happened. God stepped in, he saved them, and Nebuchadnezzar saw it. He even said, "Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego." He saw the miracle. He acknowledged the power, but his heart didn't change yet. He respected God, but didn't surrender to him. That's a big difference. Respect says, you're powerful. Surrender says, you're Lord. So God gave him another chance. The dream, the warning, a whole year to reflect. 12 months, and still pride spoke louder, until finally, God humbled him, not to punish, but to heal, to bring him face to face with reality. That's mercy. And maybe you've been there too. Maybe not, like Nebuchadnezzar, but in your own way. Maybe you've built your own Babylon, a career, a platform, a lifestyle. And maybe, deep down, you've whispered, I did this, I earned this, this is mine. But what if that whisper is drifting too far from the truth? What if success without surrender is just pride in disguise? The story of Nebuchadnezzar isn't just history, it's a mirror, a message to all who rise high. To every heart tempted to boast, to every soul climbing ladders of achievement, God isn't against success, he gives it, but he wants to be acknowledged in it because he knows how quickly blessings become idols, how easily confidence becomes arrogance, how silently we drift from dependence. And so he humbles, not to harm but to heal, because sometime messy, greatest gift is not more, it's less ego, less noise, less me, so we can hear the voice of heaven again. So what does this mean for us today? First, God is sovereign, he rules, even over rulers. Nothing is beyond his reach. Second, pride is dangerous. It blinds us, it separates us from the truth. Third, God gives warnings through people, through circumstances, through his word. And fourth, humility opens the door to restoration. When Nebuchadnezzar looked up, everything changed. He didn't fix himself. He didn't climb back on the throne by force. He simply lifted his eyes, and heaven responded. That's the power of repentance. That's the kindness of God. He meets us at our lowest, to lift us up again. Maybe today you feel distant from God. Maybe life is going well on the outside. But you know pride has crept in. Don't wait for a fall. Look up. Lift your eyes. Acknowledge the giver, the source, the most high, and he will meet you, because he loves the humble. He lifts the lowly. He restores the broken. Nebuchadnezzar learned this firsthand, and so can we. Let's go even deeper. Let's talk about the 7 times that passed over him. What does that mean? Some scholars believe it refers to 7 years. Others say it simply means a complete period of divine judgment. Either way, it was long enough. Long enough for pride to be crushed. Long enough for repentance to grow. Long enough for understanding to return. And that's the thing. Sometimes, God's discipline is not quick, it's thorough. He's not just trying to change our behavior, He's transforming our hearts. He waits for real change, not just regret, but surrender. And when the time is right, when the eyes lift, when the heart bows, comes, Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom returned. His honor was restored, and more, he said. Even more greatness was added to me. That's grace. God doesn't just bring us back, He builds us better when we surrender. Let's read. Daniel 4:36. At the same time that my sanity was restored, my honor and splendor were returned to me for the glory of my kingdom. My advisors and nobles sought me out, and I was restored to my throne and became even greater than before. What a powerful truth. God doesn't just forgive, He restores, He promotes the humble. He honors those who honor Him. But notice something. The story ends not with Nebuchadnezzar's glory, but with God's. Verse 37, the final verse. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and exalt and glorify the King of heaven, because everything He does is right and all His ways are just, and those who walk in pride, He is able to humble. That's the takeaway. God is able to humble any person, any king, any heart, but not because He's harsh, because He's holy, because He loves us too much to let pride destroy us. So what about you? Where do you see yourself in this story? Are you climbing your own tower? Are you taking credit? Are you resisting surrender? Or maybe you're in the middle of the humbling season. Confused, stripped, alone, wondering why everything's falling apart. Maybe it's not punishment. Maybe it's pruning. Maybe God is preparing to restore you. If you'll look up, acknowledge Him, humble yourself, He's waiting, ready to restore, ready to rebuild. Because His kingdom is forever, His wisdom is perfect, and His mercy never runs out. Thanks for staying with us on this journey. Don't forget this truth: God resists the proud but gives grace to the humble. Look up, lift your heart, and let the King of Heaven lead your steps. Let's keep going. Let's talk about why this ancient story still matters right now. In this generation, because the spirit of Nebuchadnezzar is alive. Today, not just in kings and presidents, but in us. In our pride, in our need to be in control, in our desire for recognition. Look around. We live in a world obsessed with success. We build platforms, we chase influence, we crave applause, and slowly, quietly, we start to believe we did it all, like Nebuchadnezzar. We walk on the rooftop of our lives and say, "Look what I've built. Look what I've achieved. This is mine." But what if God is whispering, "Be careful. What you've built is not bad, but don't forget who gave you the breath to build it." This story isn't just about punishment, it's a warning and a pathway. A warning against pride. A pathway toward peace. Pride isolates us. It makes us believe we're alone at the top, but humility brings us back to the truth. We were never meant to carry all the weight. We were never meant to be our own gods. When we try to be sovereign, we end up breaking under pressure. But when we acknowledge God's sovereignty, find peace. So how do we apply this? How do we avoid the fall? Let me give you a few things to consider. First, practice gratitude every day. Pause and say, "God, thank you for breath, for strength, for opportunities, even for struggles." Because gratitude kills pride. It reminds us we're not self-made, we're grace-sustained. Second, stay teachable. Pride says, "I know it all." Humility says, "I still have a lot to learn." Even Nebuchadnezzar, a ruler of empires, had to learn from a young Hebrew exile. Be open, be humble. Listen when God speaks through unexpected voices. Third, serve others. Pride exalts self, humility lifts others. Serve your family, serve strangers, serve quietly. You don't need applause to matter. Serving is the secret door to greatness in God's kingdom. Fourth, remember the end of the story. The final word wasn't Nebuchadnezzar's failure. It was his restoration, his testimony, his praise. So if you've fallen, if pride has cost you something, there's still time. You can turn back. God restores the humble. No matter how far you've fallen, Nebuchadnezzar literally lost his mind, and God still brought him back. That's grace, and grace is still available, right now. Maybe this is your moment to lift your eyes, to stop fighting, to surrender, to say, God, I need you. Let's look again at Nebuchadnezzar's final words. Everything God does is right. All his ways are just. And those who walk in pride, he is able to humble. That's not just a lesson. That's a declaration. From a king who lived it. From a man who ruled nations, ate grass like an animal, and returned with a testimony. This is not the story of a ruined man, this is the story of a redeemed man. And that can be your story too. Let's finish with a few questions. 2. Reflect on, is there any area of your life where pride has taken root? Do you find it hard to give God the credit? Have you been in a season of humbling? Can you see God's hand even in the correction? Are you ready to lift your eyes to heaven? Because here's the truth. God doesn't want to break you forever. He wants to build you stronger. With Him at the center, this is your invitation. Don't wait for the fall. Choose humility now. Choose gratitude. Choose surrender. Let God be the king of your heart. He gave you breath. He gave you strength. He gave you life. Use it to glorify Him, because He alone is worthy. And when we live for His glory, find our true peace, our true strength, our true purpose. Thank you for watching. If this story spoke to you, leave a comment, share it with someone, and remember, no matter how high you rise, how far you fall, God is still in control, and He is a plateau. Humble. To heal. And to restore. See you in the next video. Stay blessed, stay humble, stay close to the King of Heaven. Before we close, I want to take a moment and speak to your heart. You may not be a king, you may not rule an empire, but you have influence. You have decisions to make. You have moments where your heart is tested. Moments where pride whispers, this is yours. You deserve more. You don't need anyone else. But deep down, you know the truth. You didn't create yourself. You didn't get here alone. God was with you the whole time, even when you didn't see Him, even when you didn't thank Him, even when you gave credit to others or took it all for yourself. He was still patient, still watching, still waiting. Why? Because He loves you. That's what this whole story is about. Love. Not punishment, not humiliation. Love. God loved Nebuchadnezzar enough to humble him, to stop him from living a lie, to call him back, and He loves you the same way. He doesn't just want your success. He wants your soul. He wants your heart. And He knows that pride will pull you away from Him every time. So He speaks, He warns, He whispers, and sometimes shakes everything, not to crush you, but to save you, to clear away the noise so you'll finally look up. That moment when Nebuchadnezzar lifted his eyes to heaven, that's the turning point. That's where everything changes. Not when he fixed his behavior, not when he earned back his crown, but when he looked up, when he remembered who God is and who He is not. Maybe that's what you need today. To look up, to surrender again, to say, God, I've been walking like it's all me, but I know it's all You. There is no shame in that. Only peace. Only freedom. Only grace. Nebuchadnezzar's story ends with worship. That's how your story can end to. Not with shame. Not with regret, but with praise, because the same God who humbles also heals. The same God who brings down also raises up. The same God who corrects also restores. He's not done with you no matter what you've lost. No matter how far you've wandered, no matter how long you've resisted. If you're breathing, still time, lift your eyes, lift your heart, speak His name, and watch what happens. Let Him restore you. Let Him fill you with peace. Let Him show you who He really is. The King of Heaven, the Lord of all. The one who holds every king of men, every heart, even yours, especially yours. That brings us to the end of this incredible story. A story not just of history but of mercy, of humility, of transformation, of hope. Thank you for being here. If this message touched your heart, drop a comment. Share your story. Encourage someone else who might need to hear this. And remember to subscribe, because we're going deeper into more stories like this. Stories that change lives. Stories that reveal truth. Stories that show us God's heart. Until next time, stay grounded. Stay grateful, and above all, stay humble. because the Most High still rules the kingdom of men, and he gives it to whomever he wills. Blessings to you. We'll see you in the next video.